I'm gonna narrate a story that has been told and retold back in our villages for hundreds of years. It's about a folk deity of our country. It's called Bonobibi. Okay? So many of you here in Newcastle might have seen the mangroves here in Hexham, where there are lots of thousands of roots that stick out of the mud like little fingers. Have you seen those? So where I come from, it's in the southern part of Bengal. There's a forest like that where the river meets the sea and the land is never quite still. We call it the Sundarbans. And that land is the home of the Royal Bengal tiger. And you'd expect the tiger to be sort of the king of the jungle, but there is an exception. In this particular forest, there is something even more powerful. Okay? So without further ado, let's start the story. So once there lived a couple who had spent a lifetime longing for a child. Then one day, a prophecy shattered the silence. They would have a daughter, one who was destined to be queen. But the gift would come at a cruel price. She would have to be born into the wild and abandoned to it from its first breath. When the moment came, the father could not bring himself to face the sacrifice. So it was the mother who journeyed alone deep into the mangroves, where she gave birth with a breaking heart. She laid her newborn on a bed of dry leaves, encircled by 1,000 spiked roots like a cradle. Then she walked away, surrendering her child to the silence of the forest. But the forest answered. A wild deer stepped out from the shadows to nurse the infant. Honeybees dropped sweet nectar into her mouth, and the rising tides slowed down to keep the ground beneath her dry. She was raised by the mangroves themselves, nurtured by every leaf and breathing root, until she grew from the forest child into its guardian. She became known to all those who entered the land as Bonobibi, the mother of the forest. What that song was really about, we need to go to the second part of the story. So, in a small village by the Sundarbans, there lived a little boy named Duki. His life, like many others, depended on the forest. To survive, he joined a honey gathering expedition led by his uncle. His uncle wanted everything the forest would give. He led his crew deeper and deeper beyond where any man dared to go. But for days, the hives were empty. The forest gave him nothing. It was then that Dokhin Rai, the Tiger King, appeared to his uncle in a dream. "Why do you wander my woods with empty hands?" the shapeshifter mocked. His uncle, pleading for the forest's riches, said, Give me honey and wax, or I lose everything. You want the forest's riches? He said softly. Then take them. Take as much as you can carry. His eyes gleamed. But leave the boy behind. His uncle made his choice. He sailed away with 7 boats of riches. Duki was left alone on a lonely patch of sand. As the sun set, the Tiger King emerged, massive and lethal, his golden eyes fixed on the boy. Terrified, Duki remembered his mother's words. If you are ever alone in the dark, call for the mother of the forest. He cried out, Bonobibi! In the heartbeat before the strike, the forest answered. Bonobibi raised her hand. The air stilled. The weight of the forest pressed down on Dokinrai. Enough, she said, her voice crackling like thunder over the mudflats. The great beast faltered. The fire in his golden eyes dimmed as he shrank and fell at her feet. Pardon me, mother, he cried. Dokinrai lowered his head. But his void carried some steel. If you stand between them and the forest, they will take everything until nothing remains. He glanced at Duki. I have seen what their kind will trade for it, even their own. Bonobibi placed a hand on Duki's shoulder. So long as you take only what you need, you are under my protection. And those who do not belong to the Tiger King. And from that day, it became the law of the forest. So always remember, take only from the land, only what you need. And if you don't, you face the wrath of the Tiger King. Thank you, everybody.